I don't really know if I need enemies with friends like this that sort of saying we have to stop the interesting part of the conference because Mario comes to say something. So, forgive me for that. First, I didn't have the time or the opportunity to be with you, neither yesterday nor today. But as soon as I entered the room, I got this positive impression of numbers and energy. And I found a good Portuguese friend. I'm Portuguese by nationality, and he told me, Mari, this room is full of energy. So I trust him. So I really believe that this is the case. And so my first is to thank the organizers for this event. I mean, I know that yesterday you have been in the egg. Today you have been here. So it means that the egg brought us something new here. I know that yesterday was a very unconventional conference, lots of parallel meetings. You know, you have been jumping from one to the other. We have been very interested with those kinds of experiences, and essentially to be able to be confronted with new actors in the field coming and talking with other people and with us as well. And I want to be very positive on the questions that were here. I mean, some people are saying, what do you expect from the new wave of projects? Can we participate in evaluations? I'm also turning to you and say, tell us what do you expect from the next projects? Because this is a way for us to get a kind of a bidirectional interaction with you, and probably by our extensive attempt to mobilize new actors to pass also messages that are not just coming up from our own ideas, but reflecting your own interests. And then, you know, I was crossing the street. I was coming from this emblematic building of Berlaymont that is just on the side, and saying, another conference. I mean, why do we need a CAPS conference? Now, obviously, part of the answer was the moment I entered here and I saw all of this room big at 5:10, full of people. I mean, but for us, if I want to go a little bit deeper, is part of a large experiment where we expect that we are able to bring citizens in a more direct connection with a human perspective of ICT. And the human perspective of ICT is that humans can tailor and use ICT for things that are important for them, and also that, you know, we accept that ICT can bring to us some interesting new opportunities. In this case, we are looking for proposals, platforms, ideas that will make our decisions, our collective decisions as a society, better informed, that we are inspired and at the same time can bring more sustainable patterns of behavior in the society, that the extended awareness of what is going around us will allow us to promote collaborative consumption, collaborative problem solving, all in all, that we use this distributed intelligence to inform our decisions. And CAPS is just that. It's just a very small effort to capture the power of the distributed intelligence that exists in all our citizens. That's why it's so important for us to have non-usual suspects around us in these meetings and entering in our projects and in the evaluations and in all our interactions, because we bring more actors from the civil society, non-governmental organizations. In some of our past projects, we saw them not very visible, and I'm glad that when I asked Fabrice and the colleagues to tell me what is the percentage of non-usual suspects, I got figures like, non-governmental organizations or hackers or civil society representatives account at least to 30 to 40% of the people registered to that conference. And this is good. And this is good, but implies one thing. Implies that sometimes the people with ties and dark suits have to listen to comments that probably we are not very much used, like, are you really paying attention to the society in general? Are you promoting a democracy that brings the values of humanity and humans in the forward? Some will even be very critical about some of the way, the European Union is run, and they will say, well, look at the results of the participation in the elections for the Parliament, and this is not good. Well, I think that this is important for us, but it's also an exercise that is important for you, an exercise of transparency, of openness. Because I believe that if there is a part in the program where we are looking to engage directly with you, that's CAPS. That's actually all the aspects related to social innovation where we see that CAPS particularly plays an important role. We are listening, but we cannot just stay at the listening mode. And we collectively have to have the courage to say, then for you guys, for our policy masters to listen more to the voice of the citizens, maybe we need better instruments. Maybe we need innovative solutions where we believe that ICT plays an important role. But essentially, what we are trying with the CAPS and social innovation aspects is that we are looking for solutions that exploit the collaborative potential, exploiting the power of networking of our ICT infrastructures, and essentially that innovative solutions come from grassroots ideas. This is particularly important for us. Now, we become a little bit more conventional when we then say, but we need more money then for this type of activities. And that will rejoin the more conventional wisdom of any person that comes to Brussels that says, certainly my points are very important. And this relates to the question that I heard just when I was entering. I mean, what do we expect after the first wave of projects? Now look, the more money, the more trust, the more confidence is built also on the quality of the results of the first projects. Now I'm told, and I must say that I didn't have yet the time to go very much deep on that one, I'm told that we have a fantastic set of projects. I read some of the reports produced by some colleagues here present that are advising us on that one, and every time I read those reports, and maybe I don't capture the whole deepness of those ideas, I get very, very, very interested in the way we are putting the things. It's humans before ICT. It's distributed intelligence before large platforms controlled by incumbents. Is looking at how to involve actors that have not been used. Is when we sometimes think about energy distribution and we think about smart grids, but wait a second, I mean, where is the role of the citizens that live in a particular neighborhood to make a statement of what they really want? So it's very striking what we are facing here. And so if we couple good project results with an analysis that brings a different way of looking into the problems that we are addressing, then I think that we have the right receipt for getting more money, more support, essentially. The engagement of each one of us is also particularly important. I think that I understood one of the questions saying, I just don't need to be like a member of a big corporation. I want just to be there discussing with people. Just help me to get the fees to travel, and we unlock the power of these discussions amongst peers. Well, this brings to us something very interesting. That is, we need to channel and transform this energy in something that is then replicable in other places, and platforms that will allow us to get more power to these discussions, platforms that are not centralized, that explore peer-to-peer relations, platforms that are developed by small groups of people that really reflect the interests are something that is new in our program and something that we valued as particularly important. So I'm always positively surprised by the energy that all of you show. When we look to the projects that look into new forms of electronic currencies, we look into democratic participation, how can we make the governance more democratic, new forms of governance at city level, at neighborhood level. When we look into how sociologists, historians, philosophers can bring to us new ways of looking into the role of ICT, I just say this is fantastic and this is important. Because if there is one thing that I think that we can say about our programs is that they tend to be very classic. CAPS is a way of doing them different. Equally, when we dare to invite entrepreneurs to use and to come in the front line and to influence our own decisions, when Commissioner Nelly Cruz, that has started a new mandate 5 years ago, more or less, I mean, and she went for the first time to a campus party, and she talked to a youngster, and she tells this story every time, and this youngster was showing her some tools, some applications, apps that he has developed, and was sharing this with a lot of other people around. Commissioner said, wait a second, young boy, you know, why are you sharing this with others? I mean, keep it for you. This is a good idea. Maybe you make a lot of money out of that. And this 16 years old, if I remember well, said to him, you old lady, I mean, you know, you don't know what is our society. Our society is a society of sharing ideas, sharing wisdom, and somehow that clicked in the mind of our commissioner, and throughout the 5 years she has been always pushing us to support more involvement of youngsters, of entrepreneurs, of people that is acting not in the traditional you know, organizations, frames of the organizations, large organizations, but the ones that are starting new startups every time. You know, who is creating jobs and wealth in Europe are small and medium enterprises, are the 2 years old enterprises that generated from a small idea from a youngster, or from somebody that has a vision that is not just conforming with the traditional canons of our society. So I'm sure that I'm talking to converted persons, but I'm doing this as a personal reflection. I think that CAPS has a fantastic momentum at this moment in time. We have a new call coming up. We have some prizes coming up. Make it as an instrument of what you want to see in Europe as flourishing. You have a lot of people that has shown already some leadership and has shown the ability to transform a few euros into ideas, into things that are useful for our society in Europe. So follow them, you know, get this momentum, you know, unlock this intelligence that exists distributed throughout all of your minds, and that is the best service that you can provide to Europe. From our side, in a very humble way, I think that we will try to struggle to open niches in our programs that will allow you to bring your ideas forward. They probably are not they are not just important by the amount of money that we put on them, but by the transformational role that those projects will have in the research programs of the future. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you. Thank you.